On a dull afternoon, I was unexpectedly contacted and asked if I could freely review this game. So, after enduring several hours of what can only be described as a nightmarish experience, I'm here to share my thoughts on it. Frankly, my overall inclination leans towards a positive review, but I strongly advise against playing it at this stage. First, I admire the studio for delivering a substantial 40 gigabytes of content, but the critical question is, what exactly fills those 40 gigabytes? It seems to be packed with awful textures and nightmarish optimization. Consider this, my rig can smoothly push past 200 FPS on Metro Exodus at high settings, yet it struggles immensely with this game. Even on medium settings, low resolution, and low anti-aliasing, I couldn't hit a stable 100 FPS. Worse yet, if you mindlessly crank settings down, a parade of visual bugs crashes the party, textures glitching into grids, objects popping out of existence entirely. I genuinely cannot fathom the hardware needed for a smooth experience. Alright, setting aside optimization and graphics for now, let's walk through what these hours put me through. I wanted to quit countless times, picked it back up just as often, but ultimately surrendered. Initially, the gorgeous concept art genuinely impressed me, making me think this game has potential. It might be great. Reality proved that the development budget likely went entirely to the artists. Upon entering the character creator, a wall of dense options confronted me. This menu perfectly symbolizes the game: vast breadth, zero depth. Every option appears customizable, yet the feedback is minimal and unsatisfying. No matter how much you tweak that horrendous silicone textured face which looks like the work of a self-taught 3D modeler with 3 years of experience, the end result remains largely the same. I cycled through numerous hairstyles, and not a single one looked remotely decent. It gives the impression that the developers aimed for immense scope, brimming with ideas, but the execution produced only shoddy, poorly stitched dolls, brilliant concepts ruined by abysmal execution. Gameplay proper. It claims to support 3 camera modes, but effectively boils down to 2, a top-down God view and an over-the-shoulder view. However, the handling logic is absurd. In God view, you can't freely rotate the camera with the mouse. This means you're forced to pan glacially slow using Q or E keys. Seriously, dude? This is a real-time game, not turn-based. By the time the view sluggishly rotates, I'd be monster chow. The over-the-shoulder view fares no better. Because the game prioritizes the God view, distant objects aren't fully loaded. Playing over the shoulder means terrain, objects, and trees which look like blurry paper cutouts pop into view right in front of your eyes. Even more infuriatingly, the over-the-shoulder view also doesn't allow direct mouse look. You must hold down the right mouse button to turn, constantly triggering unwanted interactions. Adding to the genius, it features a scroll wheel auto-swap. Scroll closer activates over the shoulder, scroll away reverts to God view. The problem? All 3 views have inconsistent control schemes. The same key sometimes moves your character, sometimes controls the camera. Want to zoom out slightly for a better view? It helpfully auto-swaps modes, making controls incredibly awkward and almost guaranteed to induce motion sickness over time. The fact that the most fundamental camera system is such a shambolic mess makes me question what exactly the development team spent 7 years on. Then there's the combat system. Jarring monster sounds, stiff or janky animations, and lazily implemented floating damage numbers create a visual experience akin to watching kindergartners scribble randomly, a genuine assault on the senses. While the game boasts 200 monster types and 2,500 equipment pieces, the absurdity is that after completing the tutorial, I couldn't defeat the most basic enemies. Okay, you say I need to earn money to buy better gear? I head to the city center for quests, carry a bag for 3 coins. Hire bodyguards? They start at double digits per hire. Even more crushing, these hired guards can't handle the overworld monsters either. The bag-carrying quest is a one-time offer. Other quests are outside the city, but the overworld teams with monsters I can't handle. This traps you in a vicious cycle. Get stronger? Need to do quests for money. Do quests? Need to be strong enough to survive the monsters. Can't defeat monsters? Can't complete quests. Can't complete quests? Can't get stronger. So, stuck with undoable quests and unbeatable monsters, completely deadlocked. Reportedly, the developer has made similar games before, reusing many assets. Even so, their approach to the open world remains half-hearted. The touted 700-plus NPCs mostly offer only different names, lacking substantial unique interactions. Overall, the game feels like the studio repurposed old assets to cobble together a grand open world, but perhaps due to inexperience or limited resources, every ambitious element landed as mediocre or utterly crude. However, considering the game's sheer scale and lore, coupled with the developer's recent frenzy of patches dropping every couple of days, it might just be salvageable. I'll be keeping an eye on it. As it stands currently, my overall experience merits a 4/10. It certainly has a framework, but optimization is catastrophic and attention to detail is woefully lacking. I genuinely hope future updates bring meaningful improvements.